Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Carl S. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. Dan Priestley chimed in on the Tesla Semi and Saya partnership we talked about yesterday, saying they're a great customer with a high mileage duty cycle that matches the capability of the truck. Side note, they've been running these trucks for over a month and no one seemed to notice. There is a bit of camouflage on Saya's Tesla semis, but if you're out west, here's what you're looking for. Dan also shared some photos of Giga Nevada factory progress, saying that they topped off the main area of the building with the last major piece of structural steel. He said, fantastic design and execution by this construction team and our contractor partners. This factory is going to rock. He said, note, there is another part of the building on an intentionally different timeline that has steel work remaining. Keep an eye out for progress there. There's at least a chance he's talking about what we believe to be the stamping press section, which we talked about over the past few weeks. Earlier this week, I said how Xiaomi would definitely be a brand to watch, and right on cue, Kyle from Out of Spec put out a review of the SU7, not the SU7 as I called it. Spoiler alert, Kyle was very impressed with everything about the vehicle, from the affordability to the material quality, the drive performance, the software, and the car has some pretty awesome features. This vehicle has a slide-out mini refrigerator in the back seat that can also heat items as well. When there's an audible navigation instruction, it sends that sound only through the speakers in the driver headrest, not through the entire sound system. I thought that was awesome because a lot of times when Ashley and I go on road trips, she ends up falling asleep. Then when the navigation comes on, it wakes her up. I know I can turn it down, but either way, I think that's a great feature.
Well, if our experience with the SU7 is anything to represent the Chinese car market, it is astounding as to how great these cars are. And every time I drive a Chinese car, they get better and better and better very quickly. The time from pencil to production, the development cycle for a vehicle is compressed so highly. I think this is the best driving Chinese car I've ever been in. Not even I think, I know it is. But if you look at what the Chinese people are actually paying for cars like this, again, regardless if it was subsidy money or a different sort of infrastructure and supply base to build the cars, that it is so much vehicle for the money. There's no denying that. If this was in the US right now, it would be eating everyone's lunch.
And yes, that was the car that Jim Farley was recently raving about after he was testing it out, and it's only been on sale for about 6 months for a company that has just gotten into vehicles. The competition in the Chinese market is next level. As Kyle was saying, a lot of the customers there are actually comparing the computer chips in these vehicles and they actually know what's in the cars. That's really not the case for most customers in the US. If for whatever reason you still were not on board, I think it's time to officially say that the Chinese automakers are most certainly for real. And yes, there are still questions about these vehicles and their long-term reliability and how long the Chinese government plans to subsidize the industry so heavily. But even if that goes away, their supply chain is still going to be very advanced with the lowest cost labor, so they're always going to have some competitive advantages.
If the subject of today's review, the Avatar 07, were sold in markets outside of China, there would be 0 vehicles from foreign automakers that could compete with it as an overall package.
Savage Junkie is back again with a stress test of version 13 in New York City, but this time in heavy rain.
Stop sign here, is it gonna stop? Yep, it is. Nice. That's a funky one. This is an even worse stop sign. Oh man, is it gonna stop? It is. Let's let the other Tesla go. Should go quick. They have a stop sign also. Wow. It's gotta make a quick right here. It's messed this up in the past on previous versions. There's like no lane markings. Up, stop sign. I didn't even see that, which it looks like it's going to. And then it should just wait till people clear traffic going left. And it should sneak right in. Oh my gosh. It just gets better every time. Gotta cut in front of the bus. Wow. This is so aggressive. Look at this. All right, dude, can you go any slower? You know, it's raining in New York. People are not really very courteous to people making right turns. Everyone wants to jut out in the middle. Look at this. Go right now. Go, 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 go. Yes. That's perfect.
500 feet, turn right.
The car should not be doing this, but I'm gonna allow it just to see what it does. This is quite the illegal move, I'm pretty sure. It clearly cannot tell that this is not a lane, but we're gonna allow it. That's pretty unallowable. Another insane disengagement-free drive in New York City. I can't believe it was able to handle this. This was definitely harder than the one I did yesterday.
I know plenty of people have their doubts about FSD in the elements, at least when it comes to rain. I think some of those clips were quite encouraging, but of course snow, and especially on the road, slippery conditions, is an entirely different ballgame. But there have been a few wrong or illegal maneuvers now that I've seen over the past few days. I'll share another one from AI Driver and James Dalma. But for me, it's starting to seem like one of FSD 13's biggest weaknesses is actually not the neural nets, but it's the map data. We believe that Tesla uses Google Maps at least for the visualizations, but I've also heard that Tesla may be using Azure Maps, which sources most of its data from TomTom or OpenStreetMaps. And given what we know about Tesla, it's hard not to wonder why they don't have their own map system at this point.
We want to be in that far lane when we turn right. But this is the natural lane to turn into. That's why I picked this intersection, because there's a restriction that makes it hard for us to do a
it's
left.
Gonna get it wrong. I didn't even know that was a place you could go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now it's got this dilemma. It wants to turn left.
These
The
are
map tells it
great
it can turn
situations.
left, and you can't turn left here. This is the other half of Freelawn over there, right?
Yeah.
So
I think you found a stuck spot.
yeah.
there.
Okay. So this is an example of okay, as a human, you get there. If you know the situation, like we're talking, so you weren't really paying attention, but if you know the situation that this is blocked and you got to turn right away, you would have realized, I need to go up there and turn on the other side of this median, right?
Yeah.
If you'd been paying attention. So the question is, like, what does it take to get the car to be able to do that?
Yeah.
Now, ideally, the car's, like, awareness planning horizon, like, it's what it sees overriding the map data and the other stuff, should be, like, eventually it'll be enough to do that. And right now it's not. It didn't get that. You want to try it again? See if it
Yeah,
was a
I'm gonna
fluke?
let it go. I want to see what it does. At
Hey, look,
this,
it's gonna keep going.
Yeah, it has a left. It has its left turn signal.
We-
on still.
We could have the route says turn right.
Yeah.
What is it gonna do here? Oh my God. Yeah, that's illegal. Okay. That's also a thing people do. You saw that
Look,
there's
so
no...
it's completely. Look at this. It's still. It's completely abandoned. All navigation route right now.
Just FYI, if you have AI4 and you don't yet have version 13, you're definitely not the only one. Plenty of people still don't have it. According to Tesla Scope, the release has slowed down. We need to have a look at this chart. Many of you know about Delete Me, a sponsor of the channel, but this one graphic shows us everything that we need to know. At this point, it really should not be a secret that these data brokers are selling your personal information, and somehow it's a legitimate business in the US. I started with Delete Me over a year ago, and yet every quarter there are still new data brokers cropping up that have my personal information. And I'll be honest, there is no way I'm going to spend tens of hours every month searching for and calling all of these new data brokers one by one to ensure that my data stays removed. Which is part of why Delete Me has been such a valuable service for me, and I think many of you will feel the same if you check it out. I just got my December report, and their work on my behalf saved me over 80 hours of headaches. Delete Me shows you the status at every broker, so you can go to that website to double check that your information has been removed if you so choose. Transparency in this industry is key, and Delete Me is an American-based company who does only this. So if you'd like to take your privacy back, you can head to joindeleteme.com/electrified to get 20% off using my code electrified, linked below, or by using the QR code on the screen. According to Bloomberg, Tesla is in early discussions with the city of Austin about robotaxis. From emails and public records, they're saying a Tesla employee has been communicating with the city of Austin's autonomous task force since at least May. This to establish safety expectations. The employee said Tesla's still working to find a city within Texas to deploy. Austin is obviously on the roadmap, but it's not yet been decided where we will deploy as we have many options available. The employee first reached out to Austin ahead of the company's Robotaxi Day, expressing interest in joining the city's autonomous vehicle task force. Tesla was aiming to meet Austin's safety expectations and train first responders how to interact with the vehicles. This task force works with autonomous vehicle companies and residents to collect feedback and incident data and to establish safety training and procedures. The task force is largely made up of first responders and the city's transportation department. It works with a number of autonomous vehicle companies that have been testing in the city like Waymo, VW, and Zoox. Tesla held an event in Austin on December 5th to train first responders how to work with Tesla's autonomous vehicles. The employee said Tesla was not yet testing on public roads in Texas, only on Tesla's Austin Gigafactory campus. But from Tesla's Q3 call, we know they already have a pilot program with the Robotaxis with employees in the Bay Area. In Texas, Robotaxis must have their own licensing, and the Texas Department of Licensing and Reg has yet to list Tesla as a licensee. It's always exciting to hear about these discussions, but the truth is it should be no surprise if Tesla is going to launch next year, then obviously there's going to be some legwork ahead of that. And there's at least a chance that Austin is not actually the first city in Texas to get Tesla's robotaxis. If you're wondering what VW is doing with autonomous testing in Texas, they have their partnership with Mobileye when they launched some of their ID Buzz vehicles with their technology in the summer of last year. In case you see one of these driving around Texas, you know what's going on. In Texas, autonomous vehicles are handled at the state level, so cities can't actually have their own regulations or requirements, which will make things easier. Plus, there's no specific timeline or amount of hours that Tesla will have to demonstrate. It really boils down to ability to obey the laws and ensuring that Tesla has the proper insurance and things like that, but it should be a much easier process to get that license in Texas than it will be in California. Rafael shared a picture of a new Tesla supercharger in Spain, but when you see the before picture, it makes it that much cooler. This one was built on the site of a former Shell gas station. It'll have 8 V4 stalls open to all vehicles. Tesla China put out a short video, and Tao Lin said that all Tesla vehicles now use AMD chips with computing power of up to 10 teraflops. In a 2023 media test, the Model 3 topped the list of mainstream smart car models with a response speed of 0.89 seconds and is the only model that is less than 1 second. Again, highlighting generally speaking how savvy the consumers are in China. And given that those consumers are very focused on the software features of these vehicles. On that note, good news for Tesla owners. Originally, people thought that the new radar map features would only be available in vehicles with the AMD Ryzen chip. But Not a Tesla app has confirmed that even the Intel-based vehicles will get the maps with the radar and the full feature set.
Weather situation looks like, let's try to find somewhere with some weather. So let's say if I go to, I don't know, Indiana, or maybe go up to Michigan here, if I hit this weather overlay. There we go. So I got a little action here. This will show me from now between 3 p.m. So it's going to do a 3-hour interval. And I can see here, well, that's pretty cool. Sort of the different percentage of precipitation and all that. Now, let me see if I if I zoom out, I can actually see that over the whole map.
On the topic of older Tesla vehicles, Tesla shared a new infographic highlighting all of the software updates that a Model 3 purchased in 2021 would have received for free over the years. I did save this image as I think this would be a cool one to share with family, friends, and your network, so I'll have the link below if you want to do the same. But I think it's pretty awesome to slow down every now and then and look back and really understand how cool it is to get all of these features for free. And we know a lot of other companies are now bragging about their OTA updates, but they're really not at all comparable to what Tesla has done. In fairness, I will give some credit to Rivian. I know many of their customers are very happy with their OTA updates and software in general, but outside of that, it's not so great. Someone who works at a third-party charging station gathered this information when they shared about a new Tesla location in Lithuania. Personally, I would classify a few of these bullet points as rumors at best, but for what it's worth, he said the Cybertruck will not be for sale in the EU. It will first come to China and then the EU. He said the new Model Y, Project Juniper, most likely we will see in Vilnius this winter. So perhaps sometime into Q1, and then he said the Model Q will most likely be the same size as the Model 3, but with a smaller battery and less functionality, not smaller size as we thought. The Lithuanian market does between 30 and 50,000 passenger car sales per year, but it's nice to see Tesla finally set up a physical location in the region. But substantiating some of those rumors, we have the CNEV Post talking about Project Juniper. They said Giga Shanghai will begin mass production of Project Juniper next month, which would be January. The new Model Y will be similar to what Tesla did with the new Model 3. Tweaks to the interior, exterior, battery capacity, motor performance, and self-driving package. Just remember that self-driving package and how Tesla offers that is different in China than it is in the United States. Plus, in addition to Project Juniper, Giga Shanghai is expected to begin deliveries of a 6-seat Model Y in the fourth quarter of 2025. Of course, the question becomes, would that be 2 captain seats for the second row with the aisle in between? Ordinarily, that's the most common configuration, but I'll be honest, it's hard to imagine Tesla doing something like that. There have also been reports that in Q4 2025, Tesla will begin delivering a 7-seat Model Y. And that they've done before, so that would make sense. There was that Reuters report earlier this year where Tesla was asking suppliers to prepare for double-digit growth in Model Y production from Giga Shanghai. This is back in the rumor category for me, but we have a Chinese source saying that for the exterior for Project Juniper, it may ditch the traditional SUV design elements and adopt a grille-less design, which is a hit to this report's credibility because Tesla has always had a grille-less design. They said Tesla could introduce penetrating LED daytime running lights. Inside, the new Model Y may come standard with a bigger 15.4-inch screen, just like the new Model 3, but this one may be rotatable so you can actually angle it toward the driver or the passenger. In terms of power, the new Model Y may be equipped with Tesla's newly developed 4th generation motor system. As always with rumors here, take all of this with a grain of salt, but they also said that the prices will not change. And for what it's worth, there are some rumors that the new Model Y will have a front LED light bar. Whether the rumors are true or not, it sounds like we might find out for sure here in the next month or two if indeed mass production does begin in January next year. Which does actually check out because you may remember a few weeks back we said that Tesla was doing some initial small-scale testing on a pilot line of Project Juniper at Giga Shanghai. And you know what they say about when there's smoke, so this might be right around the corner. This one's pretty unfortunate in my opinion, but the UAW and Rivian have come to an agreement that would make it easier to unionize Rivian's workforce, contingent on Rivian ever reaching profitability. Under this confidential pact, Rivian would adopt a neutral stance towards efforts to organize workers at the Illinois factory, but this neutrality commitment will only take effect once Rivian reaches certain criteria, including profitability metrics. In short, this neutrality agreement really just means that Rivian is agreeing to not do anything to combat any unionization efforts. And of course, with that pledge being public, I think a lot more employees may be free to speak up and actually say what they would prefer, knowing that they should not be facing any backlash from Rivian. For Rivian, the deal helped pave the way for that conditional loan of up to $6.6 billion from the DOE for Rivian's new plant in Georgia, which is the part of politics nobody likes because the word was Rivian's hostile relationship with the UAW was said to be a point of contention in funding discussions with the pro-labor Biden administration. Still, there's no guarantee Rivian will perform well enough to trigger the new union-friendly commitments. Step 1 here is obviously Rivian actually becoming profitable. And if they do, for Rivian's sake, hopefully its employees feel that they're being taken care of without the UAW. Just to make it clear again, I'm not totally anti-union, it's just the UAW specifically has a history of corruption, and even if it didn't, the way the UAW operates, it's likely going to slow things down for Rivian and make things more expensive, which is going to make it harder for Rivian to succeed and compete. Honda just announced that it's going to unveil 2 dramatic new EV prototypes at CES 2025. They'll represent the next models in their Honda Zero series, which are set to hit the market in 2026. These vehicles are supposed to have a brand new operating system. Not only that, but Honda is planning to launch its automated driving technologies that will be featured in the Honda Zero series. And to top it off, Honda is planning to introduce a new energy service that's scheduled to be launched along with the Honda Zero series models. Teslarati shared that Amazon had reached out to them saying that Rivian has now delivered 20,000 of their electric delivery vans of the 100,000 contract. In March 2023, Amazon had just 3,000 Rivian EDVs in its fleet. Circling back to a Rivian update, Quinn Nelson shared some video footage showing the new Google Cast feature, so from your phone you can cast your videos and movies right to the screen in the Rivian. Eventually, decades from now, the impact that Tesla has on the world will be studied. Hopefully things like this make it in that documentary.
Look, I don't have a tiff with Elon Musk. He has built a great company. We're working closely with him and his company. They've been a great customer of ours. And in fact, together we have implemented some new, what we call distributed energy resource management tools, so we can build out their infrastructure faster. Tesla wanted a 3.8 megawatt charger station. And by our traditional methods, we told them you can have that in 4 years. Like, that we were so slow. And then we realized actually with the right tools and right dynamic load management, we could get them that capacity that day. So we've changed the way we serve customers. Tesla's made us a better operator for sure.
From 4 years to 1 day. On X, Scott shared some of the main takeaways from that Cybertruck Q&A that we talked about yesterday. Real-world crash data from Tesla's fleet influenced additional safety features beyond regulatory requirements, ensuring protection in non-standard crash scenarios. The Cybertruck battery pack was intentionally designed with a vent gap between the cells and the bottom of the pack. This ensures impacts to the underside during off-roading dent only the air gap, leaving the battery cells themselves unharmed. PowerShare updates to enable solar compatibility are expected to roll out by late December this year or early January 2025. Future advancements in cell technology are expected to further increase range without requiring additional hardware changes. Tesla stock closed the day at $436.17, down 0.9%, while the Nasdaq was down 0.1%. The volume was 17% higher than the average. Don't forget, check out Delete Me linked below. If you need a last-minute Christmas gift, maybe you can give that link to your family or friends and explain why it's so important. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video. If you did, you can find me on X linked below. And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.